right, welcome in everybody to another live experience here on Twitch and Facebook. This is Tunesday Tuesday number 39, and we're featuring my buddy and singer-songwriter Caleb Boles, who is from Diana, Texas. That's right, it is our monthly East Texas night here on Tunesday Tuesday as well. I believe at least 10 of our songs tonight are featuring East Texas artists. So we're going to be showing a lot of love to the local area where I am tonight. It's not all local, but it is mostly local. And we're excited to chat with Caleb tonight as well. Caleb was part of a show that I booked earlier this year with Van Plating from Florida at the Speakeasy Coffee House in Quitman. That was amazing. And I love Caleb's style as a songwriter and a performer and a singer. I think you guys are going to love him as well. He's super down to earth. If you guys are watching this on either Spotify or YouTube or somewhere other than Twitch or Facebook, that means you are watching the podcast version of this and you're only going to get the interview. So if you'd like to see the entire episode, including all the music and the recap, make sure you hit or click the episode 39 recap link in your description below. But without any further ado, guys, we're going to get into it with my buddy Caleb Boles, who is waiting backstage for me very patiently. So let's get into the interview and then into the music, y'all. Let's get over there. Caleb, my friend, how you doing, man?
What's up, man?
So
Good.
Caleb was talking to me before the show tonight that he's been getting some wind therapy today.
Yeah.
Where'd you end up again?
Well, I was headed to the coast, and I stopped in Conroe because I had to do this, and I was getting tired.
Yeah. So the man, I think my son was down in South Padre the other day, down near the coast, having a good time with my grandbabies, and it's beautiful down there. Man, I'm super stoked to have you on here, man. I was just telling everybody in our intro that you did a show for me earlier in the year with Van Plating, and you're just an awesome songwriter. You're from Diana originally, right?
Yeah, I am. I am from Diana.
So what was it like kind of growing up there and learning about music from that area?
Oh man, there's so many talented singers and songwriters from East Texas that nobody's heard of just because of how the music scene is out there. There's not a lot of places we get to play our original stuff. We have to travel a long ways to do it.
Sadly.
But there is growing up out there was awesome. I mean, hunting and fishing, and I mean everything you needed was right there.
Well, we're excited tonight because I started doing a weekly East Texas night once a month. So actually, cool. I guess it'd be a monthly, but we do it 1 week a month, and this week is our monthly East Texas night. And so we have Diana, Lufkin, Tyler, Avenger, Longview, Nacogdoches, Paris, Maybank, and Kilgore all represented tonight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's going to be a badass playlist, and it's like 7 or 8 different genres as well. So now, speaking of genre, how would you describe yourself artistically?
Ooh. That's a loaded question.
It is, indeed.
I don't know, man. I mean, I've always told people I play sludge grass music, which is, like just everything mixed in together, I guess. But everybody, throws it into that Americana type deal.
But I love that there's more like terminology coming out for it, like sledge grass or I've heard stuff like doom tonk or honky doom or like just all kinds of different monikers or combinations. What was it that Gabe Wooten called his music? It was like county funk or something like I don't know.
Yeah, Gabe's a cool dude, man.
Yeah, man, he's a hot shit, man. I love Gabe to death. So like what's kind of like your learning process? Like, are you mostly self-taught as a musician?
Yeah, I'm all self-taught. Man, whenever I got out of the service, I started going to school down around, Austin was going to school in San Marcos. All my friends played music, and I started out doing it as kind of a joke.
Yeah.
And then it became a career,
Well, that's something that veterans turn towards a lot, right? To kind of almost replace I don't want to say replace. That's really not true. It's almost like a therapeutic thing, right? To to get you away, because like I don't think people realize that haven't been in how hard it is to readapt to everyday life, right? What they call civilian life.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been out for almost 20 years and I'm still trying to adjust, you know.
Yeah,
So
same here.
it's
I've been out.
definitely a process.
Yeah, I've been out like almost, let's see, 29 or something, and
Yeah.
so I know, man. It's ridiculous. I wasn't in very long, and it was still a tough adjustment. And
Right.
yeah, we've had a lot of folks on the show that use music as therapy when they come back from the military. Was that kind of what it was like for you?
Yeah. So, my entire life I grew up, I was a rodeo cowboy. I was a professional bull rider.
Wow.
And once I started getting into music, that career kind of faded out. It's short lived anyway.
Yeah.
Um, and it took me to playing music, took me to a place, being on stage, just like it would if I was, making a 90-point bull ride somewhere.
Yeah.
So I got that adrenaline rush from it, in the first stages of playing music. And then after a while, it kind of that fizzes out. But I started using it as therapy. And then, a lot of my songs are about my experience. So it could be therapy for other veterans as well.
Yeah. And so how long after you started playing did you kind of decide to make this a career? Because you are essentially a traveling troubadour at this point, right?
Yeah. Yes, I am. Well, I'd graduated college and had a kind of a corporate job there for a second, but I've always been a cowboy, worked on ranches, kind of what I went to school for too. And at one point in time, I was just like, there's no reason why I shouldn't just drop everything and go for this music stuff. And that's what I did, man. And I had good advice from a buddy there in New Braunfels. I was sitting at a bar and I told him I was going to do that. And he goes, you should do it. And he's the only one that ever told me, just do it, dude.
Yeah.
And I did it. And man, it's the best decision I've ever made. Best and worst decision I've ever made.
I understand that wholeheartedly, man. As a veteran myself, I know that to make that commitment, right? We always make that decision based on a lifetime thing, right? We're expecting that to be a lifetime commitment. But it does not come without its risk, right? Obviously, I mean, we know that going in, and we jump in anyway. So becoming a full-time musician, I don't want to say is as risky, but it certainly has its own level of risk as well. Do you feel like that kind of prepared you to make that jump? That kind of like, I don't give a shit kind of attitude? Let's see what happens?
I think so, man.
Yeah.
And I think there's a point to where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to have to start making a little bit more money doing this, or there's no way I can do it, So luckily I'm at that point now, which, there's always more to be made, but it's not about that. And we know that. You know what I mean?
And you're busy, right? I mean, you're busy as hell all over the place, man. I see you playing all over, man.
Yes, sir.
So talk about that, because I know you're a completely independent artist. I know you're doing all this shit yourself, man. And still have time for some wind therapy. So where are you finding the time for all this stuff?
Well, I don't really have a lot of time.
Yeah.
I've been in Santa Cruz, California for the past month. Been out there, kind of took a little break from playing music. Did a little surfing and had a little family vacation, and got back Thursday. And man, I needed to get out of the house today, so I just, took off.
Isn't that weird how that is, man? When you're away from home all the time and you miss being home, but then you get back home and like that wanderlust sets in again. Like it's like you want to be home, but then when you're there, like you can't wait to leave again. It's weird, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Man, go ahead.
I don't like leaving my son, but sometimes I need my time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard, man, because like I said, the life is you miss whatever the other one is, right? Like if you're away from home, you miss home. When you're home, you miss the road. Man, it's kind of like that bard life. It's kind of like side missions in a video game, right? Like little side quests here and there.
Yeah,
I've heard it put that way before. I love how you said, I was in Santa Cruz. And so does that happen to you a lot? You just find yourself in a spot and then you're trying to find work in that area, or?
Well, no, we had this plan for a while. We've had it
Yeah,
planned for about a year, and which is cool. I mean, I wanted to do a little surfing out in California, so I got to do some, and it was definitely different, and a little harder,
that's
but
such
I
a.
had a great time.
It's gonna be a badass way to live, right? Not exactly what you envisioned for yourself as a kid. I bet, right?
No,
Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely not what I thought I'd be doing at 40 years old for
yeah.
sure.
So, man, I know you have a couple of records out. You got one studio record, one live record. Tell us kind of the impetus behind those, and can we expect new music down coming soon as well?
Yeah, I have. I've been sitting on a record I recorded out in California for a while, and it's just an EP. I'm getting ready to put that out, and then at some point in time in 2026, we're gonna go into the studio as a band and do an actual cut a full
Hell yeah,
record
as a full band.
as a full band. Yeah.
Wow, that's going to be nice, man. So, kind of tell us a little bit about your songwriting process, because I know you said you're self-taught, and as an independent musician and songwriter, I imagine you have very few rules when it comes to what you put out there. So,
Yeah.
how's that look as a creative for you?
Well, I want to make sure what I'm putting out there has some worth. I don't want it to be, you know, I want it to have a message.
Sure.
So I'm not just gonna put, I do have silly songs that no one's ever gonna hear. So, but man, my songwriting process, it just kind of hits me when it hits me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be sitting there and I got a line in my head and then I can write one down in 5 minutes and then the next time, it might be a year later
Yep.
something comes to me. So it's just it's different.
You
It
use.
just is what it is.
I love how you use the word worth, right? Because that is a
Yeah.
very subjective word. So here's the question for that: whose worth is more important to you, the listeners or the writers?
Ooh. I Man, that is a hard question to
Yeah,
answer.
yeah,
I honestly think that what I'm doing, it the ultimate goal is to get it out there to people, right?
sure,
Because you have something that you want to say.
yeah,
So it's got to be the listener,
yeah.
you know?
So
It's got to be.
yeah, I would imagine so, because if you don't have the listener, what does it matter, right? Like you have
Right.
to,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So how often are you thinking of the listener as you're writing a song? Like, is that part of the process, or are you just like really living the experience through your pen?
Yeah, just through my pen, honestly. I'm not, you know, I think that for me, it's hard to think of the listener when I'm writing
Yeah,
about my experiences
exactly.
and
Yeah.
and and uh but I'm trying to do it in such a way to where everybody can take something from it,
I love that so much, because I think like professional songwriters, quote unquote professional songwriters or published songwriters, or whatever you want to describe them as, I think they think about the listener a lot more than they should, right? And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, yeah.
I think a lot of that vulnerability and that connectability, believability is lost between the artist and the listener, because they're thinking too much of the listener and they're not really telling a relatable story from their perspective. And I think that gets lost a lot in the kind of the conveyor belt style songwriting that we're all subjected to, right?
For sure.
And that's what makes indie artists and songwriters like yourself so important to the scene, really. Um, and the stories are amazing. You guys already heard one earlier as our introductory song when we were coming into the episode, but we're gonna talk a little bit about the featured song tonight, which is my favorite Caleb Boles song. It's called "Wicked Witch of Wimberley," and what a great story this is! Such a swampy song too. Tell us about this one, man.
So the origin story of this is I was living in New Braunfels, and me and my buddy, a rodeo buddy of mine, Will Guilford, woke up one day, and it was one of those days where we decided just to do some day drinking. Uh, Went down to River Road Ice House, and there was some Texas country band in there sound checking for the gig that night, and it was probably about 10 or 11 in the morning. And we were already pretty, well into the drinking process, and about four women walked in from a bachelorette party that were just hammered. And they were like, "You guys want to party with us?" Yeah, we do.
Damn straight we do.
And they were like, "We're here from Houston, but my mom's got this big house in Wimberley, and we're gonna go have a big crawfish boil out there if you guys want to go." I said, "All right, yeah." So we get in the truck, follow them to Wimberley, and we ended up at this
Big house in
bar.
Wimberley.
I've still yet to find it, but it was in the middle of the woods.
No cars in
And
the
we
parking
ended up
lot.
at this
Man. We
bar.
walk in and there's this.
It's full of people and a rockabilly band playing songs about the devil. I mean, that really happened. And I was like, "What's going on?" You know? Then we, yeah, then we end up going back to that lady's house, and it was huge, huge house on the side of a cliff, and she had all these statues of gargoyles around. And on the other side of the cliff, you could see a silhouette of you and the gargoyle, like in the night. Gargoyles around the hot tub, like. So we're inside, we're playing music, have a good time. We go to bed. I wake up in the morning, and I'm walking through this big giant house to try to find. I'm just gonna say a mansion because that's pretty much what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm walking through this mansion trying to find a glass of water because I had a hangover, and I see all these pictures on the walls of crying clowns and gargoyles. And I walk into the living room. My buddy Will's asleep on the couch, and in the middle of the living room, there's a big pentagram and a Wiccan book. And I woke him up, and I was like, "Hey, we got to get the hell out of here," you know. So we leave, and I'm talking to one of the girls a couple weeks later. I was like, "What's up with old girl's mom in that place we stayed?" She's like, "Oh yeah, she thinks she's Stevie Nicks." So I wrote that song in a Porter Ann's hotel room about that lady from Wimberley.
I remember you telling us that story at that venue recently, and all I could think of, man, is if you were that blitzed, how much of that do you think was real and how much wasn't? Right? Like,
there's no telling.
Yeah, then you get back to the hotel and you're just kind of guessing what's real and what isn't. But yeah, it's a great tune. I'm excited to show it to folks here in a minute. But before we do get into the music, we do have Caleb's pick of the week, as you guys know, and this is a great way of learning of new music through a songwriter. There is no better way of learning about great music than to ask a songwriter to feature a different song. I think it's just such a flattering way to compliment another person, right? Like, Caleb is a great songwriter, great singer, and now he gets a chance to tell you about another great singer and great songwriter. And you've chosen Tony Campbell's The Surfer this week as your pick of the week.
Yeah.
Tell us why this song for you, man.
Man, I've been doing a lot of surfing, and I love Tony's music. He plays that band out of Austin, Wood and Wire.
Yeah.
And they got some great stuff. And I've known Tony for a while, and man, he's a great songwriter, you know. And I love this song, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's so exciting as somebody who loves songwriters, right, to learn of new people. Obviously, I've known of Tony for a while, but every so often, y'all will hit me with something different that I haven't heard, and I always blind react to those picks of the week, too, if I haven't heard them before, so that's always fun as well. Caleb, what's the best way for folks to follow along with everything you have going on if they haven't heard of you before?
Instagram, Spotify, Facebook, all the stuff.
And it's just at Caleb Boles?
Yeah, I think everything is.
Okay, so it's CalebBoles. That's how you spell that out, as you can see there on your screen. Make sure you're following along, especially if you're loving the music. This guy's great. He plays all over the place, not just Texas. He will probably get to your town at some point. And if he doesn't get there just organically, then reach out, and I'm sure he'll make an exception and come to your neighborhood that way. Caleb, thank you so much for your time, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We got you got some shows coming up in East Texas soon, or?
Yeah, I've got one on Saturday in Mount Pleasant.
There you go. What venue is that?
Rancho Seco. It's I think it's a new steakhouse out there.
Okay, very cool. I'll have to look that up. All right, man. Yeah, thanks, man. You have a great night.
All right, man. You too. I appreciate you.
All right, yeah, no problem. All right, guys. We are going to get into the music momentarily. I just want to let you guys know, if you are watching out there on Spotify or YouTube, once again, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see the music that we're about to play, you can click the episode 39 recap in your description below. If you are watching live on Twitch or Facebook and you have a favorite song you would like to request, we do take requests here. We will play your song, just as long as it's not offensive or hateful in any way. You can type the artist and song title in your chat.